Yeah, there we go. Immigrants entering Portugal drop 59%. There are a number of ways of reading this, aren't there? What have they dropped 59% in height, in weight? I think probably in volume here, according to Executive Digest, which actually sounds like possibly like Digestion Weekly, as though it's something to do with the alimentary canal, the Executive Digest, or is it another level up from the Reader's Digest? The number of immigrants entering Portugal has fallen by 59% in just 6 months. That's dramatic, isn't it? If you consider that we have over 1 million foreigners in Portugal, which is pretty much a tenth of the population. For there to be such a significant drop is signifying something or other, and hopefully we'll find out more here. I think it is to do with the manifestación de interés, the way that people were able to move into the country and start working and then regularize, as the government called it, regularize their affairs in due course. And of course, we know what happened when they tried to do that. There weren't enough staff to process them, and we ended up with the pretty pass we have now. Anyway, back to the article. The government has now restricted entry to foreign citizens with a visa. And by that, it's meant here that you have to have a visa, which is normal, isn't it? I mean, that's the way you go into a nation state of which you are not a born or a assumed or even earned national. You have to have a visa. And that was waived for people in Portugal, I think at one point, to boost the workforce. And with political turbulence and a lack of resourcing to process them, it just meant there was a massive influx of people who said they were going to work and did work and then couldn't get formalized having come here to work. And there are a lot of people who find themselves in the awkward position of working, of paying tax here in Portugal, but having no recognized status because although they've been working and contributing to the country and feathering their own nest, no doubt. I mean, let's not make it, we all do that to some extent, don't we? They haven't been regularized or made official by the government. So let's read on, and I'll come back to your comments in just a moment. Yeah, I don't mean to scaremonger with the citizenship thing. I'm just telling you what I was told last night from people who I consider to be professionals in the business of migration into Portugal. You can quiz them yourself every Thursday evening, by the way. Not next Thursday, because we're trying something new, but the Thursday after for sure. The Town Hall, the Dream Team. Right. A regime that allowed immigrants to regularize their situation after entering as tourists. Okay, that's the decline then is attributed to the end of the expressions of interest in Portuguese, manifestação de interesse. On the 8th of April, during the announcement of the new measures to regulate immigration, Antonio Leitão Amaro acknowledged it was out of control. His quote, out of control. And as a result, the outcome of the plan was revealed. A government report found that the flow of foreign, it sounds like a sort of prostate advert now, with flow in inverted commas, of foreign citizens entering the country with the goal of acquiring a residence permit increased. I think this should be decreased. Let me just cough a minute. I think this is misreporting or a typo here. Let's see if we can work this out together. A government report found that the flow of foreign citizens entering the country with the goal of acquiring a residence permit increased from 156,951 in the first half of 2024. Yeah, it's a decline, isn't it? In the second half of the year to 64,848. Dramatic drop. These figures correspond to the sum of registrations for the expressions of interest during the period under analysis. So let me make it clear. It's not D7s, D8s, D2s, or golden visas. It's people coming in who were able to come in, start work, and then sort all of that nationality stuff out afterwards. That's over. During the period under analysis, with the total number of work search visas and residence visas of all, so that is of all types. However, I would suggest that most of the change in numbers is due to the manifestation of interest and the expression of interest and the work search visa. Since 2017, the year in which expressions of interest began, my goodness, is it as long ago as that? Then that's when I came to Portugal. The number of immigrants who entered stood at 421,785, rising to, hastily drunk coffee before the show, rising to 480,639 in 2018. And has only increased every year. When the law changed in 2017, a decision by the Socialist Party, the PS, and left-wing parties, there were just over 400,000 immigrants in Portugal, Leitão Amaral stated. In 7 years, the proportion of foreigners residing in Portugal has gone from 4% to 15% of the total population. I mean, that is an extraordinary rise for any country to bear. And I think we need to be very mindful as foreigners here that we're part of that. And we need to play our game well on that basis, I would say. That was a big and rapid change, he added. That was, without a doubt, the biggest demographic change we've seen in our democracy and probably in our lifetimes. I don't think anyone would doubt that, would they? Currently, 1,546,521 immigrants. It probably got up just as we were speaking, but that's the recorded number. Just over 1.5 million immigrants have a residence permit, which is expected to reach 1.6 million in the coming months. That socialist government threw open the door. This is not my quote, this is the minister who's picked up this is Senor Amaro, I suspect. Here, that socialist government threw open the door, did not prepare public services for this increase. How many governments around the world actually increase infrastructure? Australia might be one of them, Canada possibly. Did not prepare public services for this increase and allowed hundreds of thousands of pending cases to accumulate, jeopardizing the integration of those who arrived, the minister accused. Once again, it was irresponsible and inhumane. It's not fair, is it, to the nationals, nor those coming in who can't get served in the way that they were anticipating. Are there any comments? No, there aren't. Are comments closed on this, or are people just sick of it? I can't be bothered to comment anymore on the Portugal news there. So there you go. Immigrants entering Portugal dropped by 59%. Only published yesterday. Interesting stuff. Let's see what you're saying about that and the citizenship thing, which may be going from 5 years, if you've just joined us, to 10 years. As I wasn't told that that's going to happen last night by Rodolfo Pelicano and Gilda Pereira. I was told that they had heard political rumors and they were leaning towards that possibly happening because similar rumors were around and abounded around other changes, including the Golden Visa and the NHR. Right. I think we got there in the end, didn't we? Jesus lol from the Portuguese. And JMC, good morning to you. Sexta-feira. Okay, is it capital S or is it a small s with letters of the week? We have the company, the wonderful company. I'm very lucky. I'm going to have the company of Philomena for the next 3 days. Today on the show, of course, and tomorrow in Coimbra. A few of us meeting in Coimbra. Looking forward to that, along with Ben Austin's luncheon on Sunday as well. Literally, not euphemistically. Bon dia, Portugal, from João Ernesto de Norte. Love the pictures yesterday, John. Thank you. Bon dia. Pam, how lovely to see you. I would like to say it was lovely to see Tony and hear his jokes. You know I would. You don't capitalize the days of the week. I didn't think so. Thank you for that confirmation. I've been here 10 years and applied for citizenship 3 years ago. I don't think you're going to get extended another 5 years when such concerns were discussed last night, Pam. Now they are going to raise the minimum wage. Almost no Portuguese benefits from it. Yeah, it would have to be significant, wouldn't it? And us, the old geezers, you've always struck me as a young person, JMC, and not an old geezer. So you're a gumper, are you? Well and truly. You have, whoa, don't spend it all at once. Your pension of €200 a month. I'm sure we can help you spend it if you want your help or consultation on that. Portuguese wine, why not? Bon dia from Mel. Where you been, Mel? Missed you on the screen here. Yesterday, we enjoyed a lovely open-top drive over the hills and back roads to our favorite beach breakfast place. We've seen those pictures before, haven't we, John? I'm feeling this. I am feeling this. This is the way to do it, isn't it? And if anyone thinks I'm going all sort of doom-monger by talking about living, aging, and dying well in Portugal, I'm not. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about living life to the fullest as part of that, and the growing part. I've taken lad and I've made it glad. Growing, living, and dying, and aging and dying here in Portugal. For the rest of your wonderful life here. Let's talk about that. Let's have that conversation. I'm not sure any other community is doing that on the scale that I envisage. A nice finale before our 10-week trip back to Minnesota, USA. My goodness. Boa voyagem. A nice memory to have stored and stacked there, John, ahead of your US trip. Be aware, the percentage change of immigrants as part of the population is also due to the high rate of emigration. The total population is about the same. Not since 2017, though, is it? I don't think, Mel, but I'll take your word for that. Now, Konyaso, Where is it? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean there, Jamesy. I'm happy with my recent resident visa because no, I will give up my British citizenship. No, I will. No, no, will I give up my no? Oh, I will not give up. I don't think you're going to give up your British citizenship. I stay British until I die. That's such a British thing to say, Gemini Bradshaw. Sorry about Tony's jokes. You really don't need to apologize. I will be retelling them, but I have to pretend that I wasn't amused, of course, whilst I'm stealing his jokes at the same time. Okay, controversy, capital S, sexta-feira, but who cares? We know what it means. Well, that's one approach to grammar. I don't think teacher Philomena will be very happy about that. You don't have to give up your British. Oh, why am I struggling with that? Nationality. You can have both. That's right. You don't have to give it up. I wonder what it takes to renounce British citizenship. I'm proud to be British. Why not? Why not? In a time where that's not especially fashionable, why not? Good for you, Gemini, is all I can say to that. Right. I will have a quick look at the weather if the time allows, although I'm sure Philomena will permit us to do that. I am going to go over to the Portugal Club, where if you are interested in living, aging and dying well in Portugal, this is going to be our focus going forward. Having those sort of conversations, if that gives you the shudders and you don't want to talk about it, it's not going to be the place for you, where we talk about that and really get to grips with it, such that, as I say, we can have a fantastic life here. And apparently people who I heard on a really good film or a trailer for a film that I'm going to be watching about death and dying, people who embrace it fully live longer. Strangely enough, that won't come as a surprise to some people. Right. To talk to you a little bit about Stoicism, as I've been building the resources over there at the Portugal Club. And yeah, this came into it. I've got, a few resources already building. We're gonna talk more as we have Portugal Preparedness Week. Preparedness in every sense, in all of Maslow's envisioning about the matter, the hierarchy of needs. Not just the shelter, but all the preparations for living a calm and extraordinary life here in Portugal, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Those are the sort of things we'll be looking at. And among my resources so far, you'll see, if you look on the screen there, you will see that we've got the Stoic view among counseling, coaching and support, death and dying, different perspectives on the matter, resources. The old guy in Europe, of course, he is chronicling his old age. He calls himself the old guy in Europe. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. I've got counseling, coaching and support. Of course, in that is Aviva's new scheme. Now, with Stoicism and what that can bring to the situation, in Stoicism, this is your thought for the day, carpe diem, memento, it's all very Latin this morning. Memento mori, Latin for remember that you must die, is a core principle, not a morbid reflection, but a tool to live a more meaningful life by acknowledging mortality, and focusing on what truly matters rather than trivial pursuits. How about that? Here's a more detailed explanation. What is it, or what it is? A memento mori is a Stoic practice of reflecting on one's own mortality, not to dwell on earth, not to dwell on death, I beg your pardon. It is to dwell on earth whilst we're here, not to dwell on death, but to use this awareness to live a more purposeful and authentic life. Yay! Let's stand on the chairs like Dead Poet Society at this point as we quote Marcus Aurelius. Why is it important? Well, you focus on the present. By recognizing the brevity of life, Stoics are encouraged to make the most of each moment and avoid wasting time on trivial matters. And those who I know, and thank you to Tom and Toddy for this, who are interested, who practice Stoicism, seem to be pretty cool people, I have to say. Prioritize your values. Memento mori helps individuals identify what truly matters to them and act accordingly rather than being swayed by external pressures or societal expectations. Well, you can take your external pressures and societal expectations and stick them where Zay Pavino suggests you stick them. The awareness of death can lead to deeper appreciation for life and the people and experiences that make it meaningful. How about that? We will talk more about this next week. And finally, and we'll have some words from Marcus Aurelius, reduced fear and anxiety. By accepting the inevitability of death, Stoics can find peace and reduce their fear of the unknown, focusing instead on living a virtuous life. And as I've said before, you can't really fear the unknown because what you're fearing is something that you think is going to happen. If you don't know what it is, how can you possibly fear it? That's the sort of thing Marcus Aurelius might say in his logical Roman way. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you could leave life right now, let that determine what you do and say and think. And there's a thought for the day. Marcus Aurelius, of course, was a Roman emperor. Isn't it amazing that we have such great caliber people running the world now? Philosopher emperors like Donald Trump. Like Keir Starmer. Oh, no. Prince Charles. No. Biden. No, I'll get back to you on all these incredibly wise elders who are running the world at the moment. Macron? No. Anyway, I'm sure there is one. I'm sure there is one. Right. Geez. What? Good morning to you, Bobby O'Reilly. Where are you this morning?